Good evening. Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 29th of June, 2017. It is a Thursday. So something radical has happened. Shocking, exciting. Guess what, guys? We have good news.
The Trump EPA, the WOTUS, the water protection thing, they freed up 247 million acres of farmland. Now, I want to talk to you about this because Obama grabbed every puddle, little tiny dry run creek and said it was federal,
which is unconstitutional and illegal.
Really caused a lot of farmers a lot of headaches. You know, couldn't make dams, they couldn't, give water to their livestock. Is crazy. So the Environmental Protection Agency announced Tuesday, to the delight of rural America,
I'm so excited,
that the Trump administration is moving to rescind the Obama-era's Waters of the United States regulatory rule.
Yes.
WOTUS gave the federal government effective authority over water use on 247 million acres of American farmland. Not only do they own like all of the West, but they're working in the middle of the country. They want to own it all, right?
Do you guys have any do you understand how absurd this is? That if a farmer owns land and then there is water on that land, all of a sudden the federal government comes in and says, we own the water on your land.
So crazy. So Scott Pruitt, together with Secretary of the Army for Civil Works Douglas Lamont, signed a proposed regulatory rescission of WOTUS.
You're right, it is rescission.
As soon as the proposed rule change can be published in the Federal Register under docket ID number
EPA HQ OW 2017-0203.
The public will have a 30-day comment period to review and revise the definition of the waters of the United States. So the EPA took to Twitter at #WOTUS to call its action a significant step to return power to the states and to provide regulatory certainty to the nation's farmers and businesses.
Yes.
The EPA added that its decision is consistent with the executive order signed by President Trump on February 28th, aimed at restoring the rule of law, federalism, and economic growth by reviewing the Waters of the United States rule. The Obama administration's WOTUS regulatory expansion cleverly redefined the term navigable waters to include little tiny boats, little tiny like kid boats that you make out of paper. Right? You can navigate it with like a Barbie boat.
Stop it.
Right? Intermittent streams environmental activists hailed the WOTUS's expansion of federal jurisdiction over land and water use as an essential common sense rule to protect water for wildlife and drinking water supplies for 117 million Americans. But the American Farm Bureau Foundation warned that a plain reading of the WOTUS meant that federal regulatory control could be asserted over any land surface that had ever experienced rainflow.
No, that's never happened on a lot of land. Not every piece of land has had rain.
Or had irrigation ditches. Farmers argue that the federal regulatory redefinition could usurp state control of water use for America's entire
247 million plus acres
used in row crop cultivation. The basis for federal jurisdiction over navigable waters lies in the U.S. Constitution's Commerce Clause, Article 1, Section 8, which gives the federal government extensive authority to regulate interstate commerce.
Totally different.
The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the landmark case of Gibbons versus Ogden that federal law has precedence in licensing vessels that moved in and out of U.S. ports.
Yeah, but you can take that a little
The Commerce Clause was expanded with the passage of the Rivers and Harbors Appropriation Act in 1899, which forbid building any unauthorized obstruction to the nation's navigable waters and gave enforcement powers to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. President Nixon tremendously expanded the Commerce Clause with the passage of the Clean Water Act of 1972, which was supposed to create a national policy that would protect Americans' public drinking water from contamination. There currently are 18 federal lawsuits in various U.S. district courts and about 22 federal appeals court petitions in various districts over WOTUS.
So I'm sure these people are like rejoicing and throwing parties at this moment.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit issued a nationwide stay on October 9, 2015 against WOTUS's enforcement under the Clean Water Act. The case was quickly appealed and the Supreme Court decided to take the case just days before the Trump inauguration day. California's U.S. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy released the following statement: "The waters of the U.S. rule was a ridiculous usurpation of power by the EPA, so ridiculous that bipartisan majorities in the House and Senate voted to overturn the rule last year. The federal government has no right to regulate intermediate streams, creeks, ponds, especially when the water is on private property. The Trump administration's decision today to withdraw this rule makes things right by getting Washington out of what it had no right to be involved with in the first place." And then Paul Ryan, I really don't want to read it, but the West has finally won in the battle over the Obama administration's WOTUS rule. This regulation had been a disaster for the West and rural communities across the country, giving Washington near total control over water resources. The livelihoods of American farmers, ranchers, and entrepreneurs were at stake. I applaud the Trump administration, and a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yes, they are. Go, Paul Ryan. That's hard to say.
He gets one or two.
One right.
Only every few months around here at Resistance Chicks.
Yeah, well, we gave you one right there. Okay, guys, I'm throwing a little party inside because I'm so excited about this. It shouldn't be something that we should even have to be rejoicing over, but guess what? It is.
However,
and we are.
With our own clause, American farmers are using Roundup.
Yeah.
Glyphosate.
Yeah.
And they are polluting the water, the streams, and harming us.
But that's not why they did this land grab and came up with this thing.
Exactly.
No way. We'll address that later by taking down Monsanto.
Right.
That's what needs to happen there.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, we're going to sign off here for the evening. This is Leah and Michelle. WOTUS. For Resistance Chicks, where it is not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Find us on VidMe. And our blog, Isaiah 58 Ministries. We love you guys. God loves you. And God bless.
I was called